dares to enter the mayhem?
Okay.
Sato 1. Arena. Good luck. Sato versus C. Get ready to rock.
So I think today it will primarily be Zato. I think the character needs work.
Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock. Counter.
I think in general, I do not play the character enough. Like it is a symptom of lack of opponent diversity in part. But I think also it's just partly a personality thing. Nice throw.
Duel 3. All or nothing.
Very unfortunate. Just out of range. It's not so much like a Zato fault, because the 2K, it's like asking for a better 2K, which I think is pretty unreasonable.
Duel 2. Keep on rocking.
Got him blockable. This is the core Zato issue, which is that if you go for the unblockable, in this game there's no way to continue your pressure afterwards. And it's not like the unblockable itself does a massive amount of damage like it used to.
Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock.
And when I say used to, I mean I mean like reload used to. Now that's a good ass Zato. You can imagine Reload Zato to be like Kern Zato, kind of. Except Eddie does Risk. Which is which by itself is possibly one of the hugest changes you can give to the character. Oops. Oh, one sec. I got timed.
Heaven or hell. Duel 1.
Oh, I see. I was gonna play someone in Grand Blue earlier because I couldn't find the Exert player, but then I saw this stream.
Duel 2. All or nothing.
Good thing he didn't burst. That's a very easy burst setup.
Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock.
Probably could have killed there. It's too reserved.
Duel 2. Turn up the heat.
He also really needs to find an answer to this, where I do float in front of him. And he keeps trying to anti-air. Anti-air is not the answer. Oh, whoops. I can't do combos anymore. What a horror.
Counter. It's not over yet.
I don't think it kills. Oh, he has super. I think he can make that work. It's just a execution issue. So I actually should have died there. Oops. It feels like all my Dead Man's Hand execution has disappeared. It's crazy what playing an MMO will do to you.
Duel 2. Turn up the heat.
See, there it is again. 6P against Flight. That is not your go-to answer. He has no meter. I have full anti-bar. He is guaranteed dead. Perfect.
Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock.
I guess I also don't really know anything about Sin execution, now that I think about it. Like the depth of knowledge stops at the special move inputs, and that's about it. And maybe like a day 1 BMB. That's not a bad burst spot, by the way. It's just like, I feel like the timing was just bad, like slow. If that ever gets replayed, you'll notice that like the point at which the burst is done is not immediately after it hits, and that makes things really awkward.
Duel 2. Keep on rocking.
And so, what is the play if you're the opponent? Because usually at this point, when it's almost like 10 games in, and then it's become kind of like decided. Okay, so the first 2 or 3 games usually, the way it goes is like the first 2 or 3 games is I want to see what this person has to offer in terms of options against my character, and then after that, generally speaking, everything tends to be shown. And so it's just a game of me abusing what I already know for a fact, because I've seen it being repeated in the first 2 or 3 games. Abusing the things that I know for a fact this person will do continuously. And then because those things lower the person's value so much, I don't really have to do anything that is risky, per se. And now, like, I'm playing in a super risk-free way, and it's still working, because it's not so much that I'm making the value, which should be the case if I'm playing against a person who is, like, for the sake of this example, similarly skilled. It's not that. It's that the person I'm fighting against is just leaking value all over the place. So I don't really have to do anything. I just have to watch it leak over time. Blitz? Yeah. I think that's the first time he used 3P? 3P? Or 3K? I don't know which one. I think it's 3K. Very brave to hit 2P while in front of a girl. Very late. I also forgot the timing on that unblockable. It's been too long.
Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock.
It's an interesting way for JK to hit.
Duel 2. Keep on rocking.
There is also the problem that I don't ever see any Sim players. That is an issue. So like, whenever I'm trying to whenever I'm trying to think about Sim opponents, it's very hard to do so because I don't really have data, or like first-hand data. And it's not as if it's a popular character in Japan either, I don't think. I need to see some kind of change in like a big picture game plan. Like for example, something that's a big picture game plan could be like, okay, I'm gonna spend a lot of time in neutral trying to get this person to summon Eddie, and then when Eddie is summoned, I'm going to focus on trying to target Eddie as opposed to trying to go directly for Zato. So that's a possibility.
Duel 2. All or nothing.
Another more common, and this is universal across any character, is you can see things like, okay, I've seen this person do this specific move, or this specific set of moves, as a response to something that I do. So now it's my turn to intentionally make that scenario occur, because I know that this person likes to do X, Y, Z when this scenario occurs. And then, because you have the info of what the opponent is going to do next, you can just counter it directly without having to react. So any form of that would also be a form of what I'm looking for also. But that's hard. It's not easy to do mid-game.
Heaven or hell. Duel.
For example, hypothetically, if he were to do leap, like, let's say that I see K leap, and every time he does K leap, let's say, again hypothetically, that I decide to, like, air backdash. If that were the case, which isn't the case in reality, but for the sake of the example, let's say it were the case. If that were the case, like an example of how he could use it is, he can do the K leap, he can backdash in the air, and then he can eat. And that eat is now guaranteed, because he knows for a fact that my action will give him enough time to do what he wants. Like, that sort of thing is necessary.
Duel 2. All or nothing.
He could have blocked that too.
Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock.
No bursts? With a 0 bar? I guess he considers the round over when that happens.
Duel 2. All or
Maybe it's true.
Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock.
I think I see too many dead angles. Also, it's just sometimes there are cases where you just do a certain option too much. I think this is one of the cases. My beautiful execution. They wrote it away by Maple Story.
Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock.
These IEDs are also working a bit too much. Granted, that does look like a very good dead angle. Just the horizontal range on it. Very surprising to see it.
Duel 2. All or nothing. Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock.
I'm glad I'm not seeing the rear bursts anymore, at least. Does that work? I think it cancelled. It did not cancel.
Duel 2. Keep on rocking. Countdown.
He can pressure there. If he just ran forwards. After I got knocked down. That is an opportunity.
Duel 3. Keep on rocking. Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock.
And also the exact same thing applies to this player, where it's like for a fact there are no Zato players that will present a meaningful challenge to a lot of people who are playing the game right now. No bursts. Oh no, that's another Maple Story issue. Absolutely
Duel 3.
tragic.
Keep on rocking. Countdown.
I guess it's a really easy thing to recommend, which is that if you're gonna dead angle, generally speaking, you want to wait until you feel like there's gonna be a mix coming at least, and then dead angle immediately before that point, as opposed to doing like this kind of dead angle, where it's just okay. I blocked one thing. I know it's the first thing I'm gonna block. I'm gonna detangle that because it makes it kind of easy to deal with. Since if you're gonna do a mix, generally speaking, it's gonna be harder to bait it. No high jump.
Duel 2. All or nothing.
I'm gonna assume also that this character kind of has a Faust problem of her boxes getting extended in ways that are not very good against Grill. So I'm gonna assume that's why these weird knockdowns are happening, but they're really bad to give to Zato. Like here you have a character who is designed to have great challenges getting knockdowns, but the reward in theory is just that much greater due to the challenge of getting it in the first place. And then if you have like a scenario where you're just getting knocked down over and over against this character, that's it's not going to be a good time.
Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock.
Can't he combo off regular throw in the corner? Or am I mistaken? I think he probably can't, which is why I didn't go for it. Yeah, now that I think about it, he usually does throw into leap. Oh.
Turn up the heat. Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock.
Also needs a response to these JK, like rising JK from jump.
Counter.
Let me combo. The one time Zato gets to do a kill combo.
Duel 2. All or nothing. Counter.
He's gonna use meter on that. He can definitely use RTL to extend. Got a lot of risk too. That was something like 40 risk on me, and then he had a
Heaven or hell.
okay starter mid-screen,
Let's rock.
so he could have gotten the knockdown if he used it. I'm gonna Great Whites. It's gonna do the work for me. Okay, never mind. I'll Great Whites next round, maybe.
Duel. Turn up the heat.
Oops. I did not get 2 Great Whites.
Heaven or hell. Duel. 1. Let's rock.
I can't dash. That's a problem. I think next one stuns if I counter it.
Duel. Turn up the heat.
The only solution for this game is it needs more players. Maybe like the patch. Well, patches are just a route to getting more players. I think the player thing is a fundamental issue. Like any sort of problem you can imagine this game having is a thing that is solved by a larger player base. And unless like Rev 3 is coming, which I don't anticipate and at this point probably don't hope for. Unless that is happening, it will probably not gain like a huge amount of attention in the next few years. Like, for example, new players are having an issue feeling satisfied with playing the game. That's a problem that's solved by having more players. Super? No. More bursts.
Duel. Keep on rocking.
There's kind of an argument to be made for, well, one of the ways you can get more players is through having content for the game, which is in large part driven by people who play the game, as opposed to something exterior, like a game developer. That's kind of true. But at the end of the day, I don't think you can. I don't think it's healthy to push that responsibility to players as opposed to the people who make the game. And unfortunately, I don't really have any hopes from Arxis at this point. Oh, it actually kills. I think the most realistic scenario is, okay, you guys have gotten your rollback patch, now you're good for all eternity, and you'll never get any changes anymore. Which, like, on one hand is kind of okay, because the game itself is in a pretty decent spot. Oh, this is really, really bad. Oh, we're on one point. Why did he do that?
Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock.
Oh, what a reach. Not exactly what I wanted.
Duel 2. Turn up the heat.
It's kind of cool if it was intentional across up. I don't think it's something it was designed to do. I want you all to notice very carefully that in that scenario just now, the burst killed Eddie and it hit Zato. That is the life of playing Ref 2 Zato.
Duel 3. Turn up the heat.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm gonna die. I should have died. Okay, I should die now. I'm losing. Oh, yeah. 2H working is Is he gonna leave? He's gonna leave. Unbelievable. GG's. 2H is a good ass button sometimes when it's preemptive. Oh, he did say GG, or he did say one more before. I was in such a drought for Exerd before this that I was about to play Granblue instead. Can you imagine? I think there was someone here. It's been a pretty long time, I feel like, since I've played Zato. I need to... It is objectively the correct choice to be playing it more right now. I would come to Exer, but it's like 4 AM my time. You seem to be in... somewhere east of... It's further east than Poland, I think. Let's see. Middle East, I see. I did see one Discord server at some point when I was making the Discord server list spreadsheet, and it was like the Middle East. What was it called? Let me pull it up. It was basically an attempt to try to centralize all fighting games for Middle East players, but it had a user count of like 20. So I don't know how successful that ended up being. What's it called? Okay, Fighter. Well, there's one here called. There's one here called Fighters GCC. There's Qatar FGC, and then UAE FGC. I don't know if any of these servers are still active. Fighters GCC is the most active of them. I see. It was pretty fun to find these servers for these regions that you normally don't hear about ever. Like, India also had a kind of a thing going on. And that's a region where you never hear anything fighting games related from. At least like Korea. At least you see people winning from the region. Although you don't really hear anything else. Unless you like watch a streamer. Absurd PC. I'm super active on the India Discords because I have friends who live there. I see. My Indian connections are... I know a guy from Sri Lanka. That's about it. That's not India per se, but it's kind of close. And he is completely out of the fighting game loop. Are you telling me that it's 8:51 PM on a Friday and I can't find a set for Exerd? Well, it seems like I have to join the cuties only room. Zato is a cutie. I think that counts. I will play if I had eaten and showered. I see. I'll probably be here after the time it takes for you to eat and shower, to be honest. And head out of sleep.
We've got a newcomer.
Shed_dull. It's very reminiscent of some other player.
Zato versus
I'm not sure what number. I'll take a gander, and if you're still going, go ahead and doing. Sure. I do prefer making the like 2-man lobbies, so I'll remake if you're here. You know, something I do notice now with this game is that I think there are actually more new players than when Xrd was actually still the main game. Back in 29, maybe not 2019, but 2020, like 2021 for sure. I think at that time, if you were to open up the game and just look at the lobbies, there were so many names that you have guaranteed seen from some other sets or like tournaments or just people you've played online. Those people were guaranteed to be there, and the number of like actual new players was actually pretty. Like, they were not common. And then there were a few things that happened. Number one was they announced that Strive was going to come out, and that brought on a lot of new players also. But then the other thing that happened was Strive came out, and then some time passed, and then Strive players started to play this game. And I think right now is still like within that phase of people who are playing Strive getting fed up with the game, and now they're trying older games like Plus R or Xrd. I think like a lot of the new players that play right now are, generally speaking, going to be within that archetype, which is kind of good to see, because like new players, period, are very rare and are very good for the game. Unfortunate. We need more new players. New players save games. I guess I shouldn't be playing. Well, I did say I was gonna play Zato, but I do need to. I kind of do need to not play Zato. But I also do need to play Zato. This is a. I'm stuck in a loop. I need to play Zato, but I also need to not play Zato, and they're for completely different reasons. I got Xrd after Plus R got rollback. I don't know what I was thinking. Play the other struggle bus character. Who are you playing in Plus R? Because I know you play at least some amounts of Zato, and I think you play some Soul also, or maybe just for combos. Okay, my Zato versus Soul memories are very slowly coming back. Here's fun facts, fun Zato facts. You can reflect Gunflame. Very amazing. Very good tool. Unironically, very good. For some matchups like Venom, it's not very useful, but in this matchup, it is pretty good. Well, even in the Venom matchup, there are cases where it's really good, like versus Carcass. Okay, he's also not shown any Liquid DPs. Okay, there it is. I main Sol in both games, but I also play Axel and Zato in Xrd. I see. Sol's pretty different between the two games. I think Axel and Zato are I think Axel and Zato are pretty like Zato's pretty different too, but I think the degree to which Sol is different between the versions is pretty notably different, even compared to the other characters. And you know, this guy might be a plus R player too, looking at these riot stomps. What was that? People running into Estro will never not be fun. That's a Jam player exclusive, I thought. But then I started to see other players do it too. Jim and Chip. It's particularly those two because their characters move at a pace at which you have to... They really emphasize the fact that you have to like make the thought and then just execute it. And you can't really change your thought midway. Because they have to act at such a fast pace. Wow, just 6 speed, no big deal. DP? He would have won if he DP'd. Or won the interaction if he DP'd.
All or nothing.
Also, actually not that mash there. DP. See, I wanted to DP so badly because the one time he did DP earlier, it worked, and he didn't get punished for it. So now, his incentive to DP, just seeing that one DP work and not get punished, is a massive incentive for him. Thundershade recovers so fast. It's sometimes... Actually, no, not sometimes. It is just a good move, period. It is a good move that Zato has. He doesn't have a lot of them. He doesn't have a lot of moves that he can just say are good, period. So, let me have this one, please. You can't do that. No DP. Oh my god. I think horizontal reach is the same on all characters for blitz attack. So I'm once again going to leave that to the fault of playing too much MapleStory. You know, I really hated when everyone that I knew played this game in all the discords I were in for fighting games. They used to play Xrd, and they're still in the servers for matchmaking for this game. But then you ping for Xrd, you get no response. You check out what these people are doing. They're all playing Final Fantasy XIV. And I've just committed myself to the same sin of playing MMOs instead of fighting games for the past 2 years. Can you believe it? 2 years sunken into a shitty MMO that will probably die soon.
Versus Soul. Get ready to rock. Heaven or hell. Duel 1.
Although I think if I continued to play fighting games, or if I continued to play Xrd, I probably would have moved on to like Street Fighter 6 by now, I imagine. So in a sense, I'm still playing Xrd because I haven't been playing fighting games. I think the general consensus around 6 seems to be very positive, even from Street Fighter V players, based on what I can tell.
Duel 2. Keep on rocking.
If I ever decide to just cut ties entirely with MMOs, that is probably the day I install, or buy and install Street Fighter 6. Oh. You can't do that. There's one Soul player in Europe called Nephi, and he is pretty fun to play against. I think a lot of the Soul players for this game in NA have disappeared into the either disappeared into the ether or disappeared into Strive. It's one of the two. That could have been replicated, by the way. Oh, nice. At least he's reacting to the 2D to confirm. That's good. You know, it's actually become harder to do that after rollback. So ever since the rollback patch hit, it's become harder to do single hit confirms. At least personally. Oh, whoops. Didn't die. Whenever I play a character that requires it, like Soul or Johnny, the number of times I notice myself just see 2 frames of something happening and then it canceling out by rollback. It's pretty annoying for those cases. Like more so than just always having more delay. Although understandably, like overall, of course, this is objectively a better form of netcode, but Is 2S RC I80JS? Yes, it is, and it works on every character. But the execution can be a little different based on who you're doing it against. Also, I think it just doesn't work on some characters, like Mei. Mei is too short. This seems to be unplayable. I'm gonna give it a shot anyways, but... Okay, it seems pretty playable. You know what this matchup is? The Zato Mirror? It is the matchup where you get to ape out the hardest you've ever done in your life. Because the way the character is structured to work in the mirror match, that is what you have to do. There's no other option. You have to ape. You have to mash out of pressure. You have to IED. You have to jump in. You have to run in. And you get a single hit, like a single good thing happens as a result, you win the round. Oops, what am I doing? Alright, let's see it. Oh, huh? Is that a thing in in Strive? You just do like a you do Nobiru into super from that range. Would you say it's a 7-3 mirror match? I would say it's a 7-7 mirror match. Both players win equally. I think in the same sense, the Axel mirror match is a 3-3 mirror match. Come here. I will show you. I will show you the freedom that you didn't have in Strive. Okay, not this. This appears to be Wi-Fi, based on how fine it was a moment ago. Oh, full screen amorphous is definitely a Strive thing. I see. I know it goes full screen, like it travels all the way. And I know also that it's plus on block in that game. Which is kind of interesting because even in this game, it's not plus, it is definitely minus, and technically punishable. But it pushes you out so far that it like feels plus, although it's not. Oh, what's happening? I can't tell what's happening anymore. Okay. Good games. That is 2 games. I will leave it at. Unless okay, he's gonna come back. I see. What's your price internet? I think it's just Wi. Well, maybe it's not just Wi-Fi. I played much better Wi-Fi players.
Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock.
Oh. Oh. DP? No? How can you not DP in that situation, as Dragon and Soul Soul? What a disgrace. to all DI souls. Oh, I think I might. No, never mind. Wi-Fi ain't good though. there can be, relatively speaking, within the confines of Wi-Fi, there can be good and bad Wi-Fi. Believe it or not. I wonder if they'll get over their autopilot to complain. Yeah, that's an issue. Like any sort of autopilot in terms of like a set of strings or like a string of moves that you do that is very consistent. Those are always bad in this game. Like whatever. So you can be doing strings for whatever reason, but the objective of that string, or like the path to getting to that objective, should be varied. Like for example, let's say I just want to use 2k to begin my block string. Well there, I shouldn't ever only be using one string from that 2k. And it's like purely for the sake of having a varied block string, or having a set of varied options available from that point. Like if I see a Zato player do 2k, and then he always does 2k, 2s, 5h, and then far drill, that is just, like it's a good string. It's not that it's a bad string. It's more so that it makes your actions predictable. And your actions being predictable is never a good thing. I think this is the Zato player from before, right? You switch to Batman? Oh. He's using Dust as a mix-up option. He knows the Wi-Fi strats. I can't combo. I think I do not get it. Oh. Yeah, same one? I see. He tried to combo and that was alone. Was brave. It was an entire 2-hit combo that I tried to do. How audacious of me. Oh. Oh. I was trying to go for mix, but the Batman needs to dash over the JD. That is a requirement. You think it's ever worth it to Drunker Shade after doing an unblockable to maintain a knockdown? To Drunker Shade after doing an unblockable to maintain knockdown? I actually don't know what you mean. Because unless you're... like, to my knowledge, you cannot do that. I should actually make a... I should actually make a room before I do this. Oh wait, hold on. Let me not do this. There we go. Wouldn't Eddie still need to come back after the unblockable, so the knockdown is without Eddie? Even if it did knock down, yes, that would be true. Like JH and Dust then Drunker Shade. After the 3 hits of drill. That knocks down? If it does, I actually didn't know that. Hold on. This might be the discovery of the ages.
Zato versus Sol. Get ready to rock.
It does 100%. Okay, hold on. Oh my god. Oh wait, hold on. I did set up the attack, right? I did. Oh. Okay, it just needs to be faster. Okay, I see. Well, that's an option that I didn't know existed, so thank you. But okay, I see. In that case, I think the thing that you now have to balance is instead of doing the unblockable, if you do the route that is Dead Man's Hand, does it do more or less damage? And I assume you're saying that, and like I assume you're bringing it up because it does actually do more damage. And I think probably the fact that you lose Eddie, if you're gonna do that route, you need to maximize damage. Like the option of having the knockdown afterwards is not particularly valuable, relatively speaking, probably. But that is very good to know. I was entirely unaware that that existed before this. You know what I feel like? I feel like Krakatoa not knowing that you can you can change the direction of your throw in the air. I hope he still plays. I know he played. I know he went over to Strive, but I think I saw him playing Exerd at some point.
Duel 2. All or nothing.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna try doing that this game. Let's see what happens. I think most likely what's gonna end up happening is I do the combo, and then because I don't have gauge, I can't continue my pressure. So it ends up being like the damage I got from that knockdown, but then I'm just left with a Eddie-less knockdown. I assume that's what's gonna happen. Yeah, that's what I thought would be the situation.
Heaven or hell. Duel 1.
Yeah, you have like a drill on top of them, and maybe regen half of your gauge from the left string. I see. Like here too, I think it's better to maximize damage, as opposed to trying to do something like or anything else, basically. And matchup has a influence on it too, like because it's Soul, he has a really good DP hitbox to deal with his auto. I think Soul probably, like in terms of DPs that exist in this game, Soul probably has the best one to deal with his auto. And then maybe it's like... And then maybe it's both Kai and Leo, as they have the same benefit of being able to use STP. Sins is probably on the bottom of the list. Oh, I can use it. I think the timing was off anyways. Who else has a DP in this game?
Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock.
Chip Jacko Gem. Chips is also pretty good. And it's almost purely because of the fact that, like Souls, it is also a 2-hit DP. But the hitbox isn't as good as Souls. Gem is probably like the same tier-ish as a same tier-ish as Sin. And I think Axel's is probably a little bit above them.
Duel 2. All or nothing.
So maybe the list goes, number 1 is Soul, and then number 2 is Kai and Leo. Number 3 is... Oops, that was a bad jump. Number 3 is Chip, and then number 4 is like Jim and Axel, kind of. But like at that point, it's kind of pointless to try to make distinctions. The point being, Souls is really good. Souls is amazing for the matchup. Chip's DP is 4 frames. I see.
Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock.
Believe it or not, you can't actually do that. and also expect to win the interaction, I'm afraid. Oh, nice. But I appreciate the attempt. Oh. You know, because I fucked up and didn't look at the meter, I lost that interaction. How unbelievable. Oh, oops, I got killed. All I had to do was unsummon. Are we counting each level of Kenro as Jam's DP? I think so. Like everything combined. I think this kills. It does. Nice. Although the fact she can special cancel an escape even at level 1 is pretty strong. It is. But the options she does have are not great. For example, like if we're using the same argument, Sin probably has a much better... Sin has a much better set of options available after that point. I think the max Kenro would bring up Jam's average and give her the edge over Soul then. I think so when you're talking about DPs that deal with Zato specifically, the initial hitbox, and I could be wrong, I think the initial hitbox for Jam's DP is not great, even at level 3, if we're comparing it to Soul. And I could be wrong again, because not a lot of Jam players use level 3 as a DP. I think. Yeah, this is very, very specifically within the context of facing Zato. Now, if we were to do like a strength comparison of every DP without any other consideration, I think Souls is probably... well, and now you also have to think about, like, well, are we thinking of other use cases other than on Wake Up? Like, In that case, Jams goes up a lot because you can use it as a mix-up tool. Oh. He keeps doing that. The JD after a jump in into Bandit Revolver. Oh. I got L-smarted. You know, he's so close. He's so close. What he has, because he's figured out that after he does Gunflame, like, he knows that I know that he wants to Gunflame. So now what he's doing is, in the spots where he wants to Gunflame, not always, like there, but sometimes, in the spots where he wants to Gunflame, he's not doing Gunflame. Can you imagine? And instead, he's doing something that will beat my option of doing Drunken Shade. But the problem is, the execution isn't there, but the thought is. Like, the thought of knowing that I want to do Drunkard, and then doing the thing, or not doing the thing, that you would normally do, that causes me to do Drunkard, and instead doing something that beats Drunkard. That is what I need to see. And that is what I saw. I'm very happy. Oops. I was so happy that I messed up my combo. What a player. Very uncommon, unironically.
Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock.
Oh. Oh. See, like after the 2D also, like I can't react to 2D Gunflame. That's not possible. So the thing that I am doing is the moment I see 2D, I just press Drunkard. And it's not a reaction at all. It's just me seeing the 2D and having the memory that this guy has done 2D into Gunflame a lot in the past. So you just do it as a read. And because you know that, now you can do 2D into like Banditbringer. And now you've got a guaranteed counter at Banditbringer. And how strong is that? Oh, I didn't want to do this route. It's okay, he didn't block. I'm so unused to people changing their actions. You're lucky. Hey, it's been a while for me too. Okay. Usually it's one of two things. Either they already know what their options are, or they don't. The scenarios where a person like figures out mid-game that something is happening, and they realize what's happening, and they also realize that an action needs to be taken to counter what's happening, is very rare. Oh, he doesn't like to dead angle. And catching someone mid-discovery is rare. You love to see it.
Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock.
And I should mention, to be erring on the safe side, that this is very hard to do in general circumstances. So if you feel like you don't do this, that is very normal, because it is very hard. And if you could consistently do that, like every day that you play, like if you could learn one more thing that you learn how to deal with every day, you would probably be the best player in the world.
Duel 2. Keep on rocking.
Oh, what a button. Oh, what a button from my end, but from a completely different meaning. Oh. That was good. See, 2D into nothing, and I know that he wants to. I know that he wants to do 2D into Gunflame. But now he's like, okay, Well, if I do 2D, I know that he wants to drunkard. So if I do 2D into nothing, then I can just run up and punish the drunkard. Or that's how I fantasize the mind of this player. Oh. That was a good wild throw, actually, just way 2+, yeah. Oh. I want to beat your ass so bad. I see. That's at my Steam invite. I see, okay. Well, I think that's a good feeling to have, of wanting to beat my ass. This dude pulled out the mid-game Nico Nico text. He's been doing that the past sets. All right, you have a good time with your food, Rudy. I think the lobby is, yeah, it is. Here's my problem, okay? Whenever I play this game, I need to play Zato, because it is, technically speaking, it is my main character. It is the character I have the best win rate on. And I need to invest more time into it. Here's the problem, is I don't want to play Zato in netplay. Well, even offline, if the range of players is going to be limited. Because, number one, Zato is horrible at making new players feel like there's any interaction going on. And number two, to be very frank, it's not very interesting for me, because I do the same thing over and over. So my solution has been to play other characters, but I think the competitive validity of playing so many other characters is not as good as playing just one character. Who could have thought in this game? And it's not as if I finished every character either. I still haven't played Dizzy, or Ram, or Sin. I think that's about it. So I need to finish those 3 also, and Jacko, those 4, and Jam, 5 characters. So I need to do those 2, but that would require me to, first of all, stop playing MMOs, or MMO singular. Actually, yeah, that is actually the only thing. So I think for the time being, I will continue to play random, or random to the extent that I choose different characters every now and then, not literally random. I picked up Milia a while back, and she's so much fun. I see. Generally speaking, like, what are the odds that the one character that you happen to come across is the one that you have the most fun with? Like, it's very unlikely. I think a lot of people main a character and then just spend all their time playing that game, not knowing that there's a more fun character for them. It seems very likely. I'm fearful of what would happen if someone with your dedication started playing Dizzy. The only Dizzy player I knew switched to Ino because Dizzy was too much work. Thank goodness. Is that Thomas? I think that is Thomas. I don't know if he still... I don't know if he's in Waterloo still, and I don't know if he still plays the game. It's Sauce Thomas. I see. It turns out there are a lot of fun characters in this game.
Good luck.
Oh, I didn't check the color. No to both, I think. Unfortunate. But understandable. Who would play Exert in current year?
Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock.
Yeah, at least it's not Wi-Fi, seemingly. No burst. I really spent 600 hours playing this game not knowing Millia exists. I mean, you don't have to feel too bad because I spent is it 4? I spent 3 or 4,000 hours in this game not knowing that Zato can do that knockdown. So I wouldn't feel too bad, to be honest. Oh. And like, it's partly, I have to say, I really have to say, it's not entirely my fault. The game, the game just has so much random shit that you have to learn. Sometimes you come across things like this, where some small thing just passes by you for apparently 3,000 hours. Let me see how many hours I have. I can't check right now. I think it was 3,000. Oh, that I have on Steam, specifically. Goodbye, Eddie. You're dead. You're not dead. No, you're done. He did play me in one of the first 2 fives I ran earlier this year, so he probably still plays. I see. If you can recall, if you can call Eno66JH playing. You know, my goal right now is I'm going to, as long as I keep being interested in fighting games for that long, which is a big if, because I don't know if I'm gonna be, I don't know if I'm gonna be invested in this game or in MapleStory. It really depends. It's really up in the air more than you think. But if I am dedicated to this game for long enough, for the next like 2 months, I am gonna try to go to Frosties for real, because I do need to go to like that region anyways during that time. Hello, Crocs and Socks. Thank you for the raid. I felt so bad for you doing a jump forward IB and then getting hit by Faust 2K anyway. These things, okay. If you're a Zato player, you come across a lot of unfortunate mishaps, and things like that are nothing. you have to experience this character before you actually feel what true sadness is. It's unbelievable. Like, there's something about how there's like, imagine there's another tier list, but for how sad you feel while playing the character. And Pot is pretty down low there. I think Axel is also pretty low down there. But then you have Zato. I think Zato is easily at the very bottom of all characters. I'm not saying that he is bottom tier per se of character performance. I'm saying that you get sad the most and the most frequently when you play this character, as opposed to any other character in the game. Like, in fact, if anything, I think Pot probably is pretty high up there in that list, in that specific tier list of how sad you are while you're playing. Because, like, you have all this sad shit happening, but you at least have the reward of, like, okay, I got this really good hit, like this counter hit, on my 6H or whatever, and now I just win the round, literally, from that one hit. And Zato kind of has that too, but I think the conditions are too stringent. Like, for Pot, it's literally, you hit the counter hit, you're in the corner, you literally win. for Zato, you hit the counter, you also need to have Eddy Gauge, and that's kind of a big deal.
Heaven or hell. Duel 1.
What if you could blitz after the unblockable, then Drunker Shade to knock down? What if you could blitz after the unblockable, and then Drunker Shade to knock down? I mean blitz attack, after I do my unblockable. You think that works? I don't think it works. Oh, nice. Oh, GG. I was only one cup off. That is the worst spot to burst of that entire combo. And that's a long combo.
Duel 2. Turn up the heat.
I think if you ask most Faust players how they feel about this matchup, they're probably gonna say, like, unless they're like very experienced in the game, they're probably gonna say that it sucks for Faust. And I don't like entirely disagree, but it's probably like a 5.5 for Zato at best, which is kind of a big deal because the amount of like positive matchups that Zato has is absolutely in the single digits, and probably closer to 0 than to 10. There's Pot, there's Kum, probably, there's Faust, probably. I think that's it. The comprehensive list of positive matchups for Zato in Rev 2. Oh. Oh. That's a pretty big factor also. Like sometimes there are a lot of cases where when you're playing this game or when you're playing this character, you just have things not work. And oftentimes it's because the game, like the hitboxes were just designed a few pixels too short. And that I think also is something that happens, like it happens to most characters, but it happens to Zato a lot. I think GG. And I think now that I think about it, Zato does actually have that happen the most of any character that I played. Maybe Bedman is the other one that has that issue. Oh. I was playing Batman and I 100% agree. Okay, so here's the perfect way to illustrate it. Imagine that you're playing Batman, Rev 2.1 Batman, and he just has literally double his damage output, but nothing else has changed. Now, like, he is objectively better as a character, like his tier has gone up, but he still feels just as bad to play. Based on like the number of things not working. I mean, like, it's gonna feel better because you're winning more, but in terms of like the the types of interactions that you have with the character, it's gonna feel just as bad. That's what I mean when I say like the way different characters feel different amounts of bad and sad. Not blocking grill. Not good.
Duel 2. All or nothing.
I think he also doesn't know that you can kick the puddles to kill them. It's also important. And it's true what the other... the Soul player from earlier said, like, I just don't know anything about the matchup. And unfortunately, it's kind of true. For, like, especially for this character. You just kind of need to know some things before you go into it. Before you can, like, start to feel like you're having a productive set. I'm generally not a fan of that kind of design, but I think it's unavoidable. Like, it's one of those other things where it's like, sometimes you have artificial difficulty in a game. Like, there's difficulty, and there's no reason for it to be there, but it's there, and it makes the game hard. Like, there is a purpose to that, but no, I don't have an extra finger. It's just that I'm, my pinky is in the slot where the fourth finger goes, because I don't want my, I don't want any fingers that press buttons to be, to have like a layer of cloth between it and the button. I thought he would blitz back for some reason. So yeah, I just have an empty, what would you call it? A finger sleeve sticking out with no finger in it. Actually not worth to... Actually, maybe it was worth. I think it was not worth to Executor there. Even though it would leave him at a point where one hit would kill him. Now that I think about it, it was probably worth it to Executor. Wow, nice backdash. Holy shit. Okay, that's not a real combo. Yeah, you can see this one has no finger. Oh. Can you reflect his bomb bag? Unfortunately, you cannot. But I think you know this. And something else you can do is you can 6H the bomb bag. And what that does is 6H extends your hurt box so massively in such a short amount of time that Faust will get hit all the way up into the air because I hit 6H. And he gets hit by his own explosion. In fact, let me try to see if I can get that to happen. Oh, not there. That combos? Holy shit. I think it has to be OTG damage, right? Oh. It has to be LTG. Yeah, okay. Yeah. You kind of have... Well, you can FD for a little bit, but the burst has to happen before you die. Oh, sick. You know what else you can do? You can do Blitz in the air. And I think you can immediately do Executor instead of the like landing and then doing the high jump. That works too. GG's, you are too good. Also, can I ask a question about Zato? Sure. I feel obligated to do this because there are no other Zatos that play the game in this region. What move can I IB to get out of that pressure you do? Oh boy. Okay. I feel like you're running the same pressure, I just didn't know. Okay, here's the unfortunate part. You don't get your turn until Eddie Gage runs out. Which is what I'm gonna... Which is what I have to type. You don't get your turn until Eddie Gage runs out. Which is, you see the problem is like, when I am playing Zato in these net play lounges, and I have these players who are having this issue, the type of advice that I have to give them, like the reality check that I give them, cannot be applied until they spend so much time in training mode against the character. So until you do drill to get space, I can move. Drill in neutral. Drill does not cost any meter. It does not. If I do drill at the end of a block string without Eddie up, it's neutral time. If Eddie is up, my turn. And oftentimes, like 99 cases out of 100, people don't ask anything. they play the game, they see Zato, they see that they're losing, they leave. At least this was I guess a positive interaction. But when you win with Zato in a net play lounge, and you feel like the opponent is not interacting with you in any meaningful way, and you just keep winning, it's it feels the most unproductive you can ever be while playing the game, and thus the other characters. Let's see what you were talking about earlier, the blitz. I feel like if you do blitz attack into Drunkard, it's gonna be the opponent's gonna be too high up to get him off down. Let's see if it works. And even if it does work, it's gonna be like a 20 damage increase, I think. Whoops. You need to do blitz attack. Yeah, that does not work. Maybe if there's a way to... No, there's no way you would have time, I think. I think if there was a way to do fully charged blitz attack during the drill, or that like setup specifically, I think I would have known. Probably. Oh, this is a fun matchup for Zato. Actually, I'm pretty surprised he still plays. I thought he would have moved on to Strive by now. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. That was kind of cool. Nice. Let me show you Zato versus Pot. Fun fact, 5D as Zato will lift you up into the air, and it has no functional purpose other than to beat pot. its sole purpose of having that feature is to beat pot, that's it. Oh. Oh. I should die. Oh. Okay. It is my life's goal to not drop around versus a pot player. Oh. Okay. I dropped around to a pot player in the first game. It's okay. Hello, Celio. It is, this is like the 5th or 6th time that I say this. But I do feel very bad about your subs and my lack of streaming. So I, for the 6th or 5th time, apologize once more. But you can, as usual, blame MapleStory. I thank you greatly for the sub. You know, at the very least, I have some good news regarding MapleStory, which is that I'm now at a point where I can probably consistently make like $100 a month just from playing the game. Pretty amazing. Oh. That is a 3-frame move. Is it frame 1? I think that was such a long time ago that I don't know what you mean anymore. Oh, you mean dust against the thing that knocks down that he has. I believe it is frame 1, but you have to be careful about the timing that you do. The timing that you do RC at, because if you RC too early, the moment you RC, you're now in like you're now in a grounded state. Might not have been worth it. Oh. Fun fact, that was a 6P. And you beat it. The one disadvantage, not the one disadvantage, one of the many disadvantages that Zato 6P has, the one time I need it, it doesn't work out. I thought maybe because of how slow it is, I might actually catch the Mega Fist. Oh! Okay. I need to see that like one more time, and I'll be able to deal with it. Oh. Okay, let me try to not drop rounds anymore. It feels pretty bad losing to pot. Let's see. Pot really is full of surprises. He's full of... Oh, that's a message I don't want to see. Pot, that's he's full of surprises in the worst way possible, which is the surprise of you die. What is that your Hammerfall punish is 5p2s? I mean, you can do 5p2d, but it depends on the range, which in itself is pretty sad also. Like the range of, can you just do raw 2D? Yeah, it's probably better to do that than 5P2S.
Let's rock.
But generally, like the objective in doing so is to try to bait him into mainly doing another Mega Fist after he blocks the, or like gets hit by the 2S. And then that way you can kind of induce him to get counter hits, which is pretty important. Oh, I could have blitzed. Oh! It was really close to being able to pop Buster, if he went for it. I don't think he did. Okay, you might have seen the Trishula work a lot in the past 2 rounds, in the past 2 games, but it's not actually that good. I just wasn't dealing with it properly. Oh, am I dead? I'm not. I'm dead now. The way you deal with that is kind of bad for Zato. So you can do Nibiru if Nibiru is up or if Eddie is up, and I guess you can also cancel that into like 6H if you really think he's gonna go for it. But the problem is you have to use 6H. That's a big downside. Oh. I wonder if he reacted to the 6K and then decided to backdash. That would have been cool to see. Oh. It's okay. That, by the way, was actually a bad Dead Man's Hand, because I could have unsummoned without using it, which means that I get a little bit more Eddie Gauge if I just not use it. Like here too, I don't have to Dead Man's Hand because I have enough time, just with the way it regenerates by itself. But if I choose to Dead Man's Hand, it's going to deplete all the gauge. And I don't want that if I can avoid it. Oh, I got him. It actually traded. That's unbelievable. Actually, it's pretty believable. But oh, okay, I'm done. It's unbelievable in the context of any other character that's not Zato. How nasty.
Heaven or hell. Duel.
Okay, this time for real.
Let's rock.
Okay, let me tell you what's going on, because it's pretty unclear, I think, for some people. I should say, for a lot of people. What's going on is he knows that I want to cancel my strings into Vardril, because that's kind of just what Zato does. That's how Zato block strings work. So that's what I want to do, and he knows that. So what he's gonna do instead is, at the times when he thinks I'm gonna go for the Vardril during my block string, he's gonna IB the move before it, and then he's gonna try to Hammerfall like that. Or, sorry, not Hammerfall, but the Mega Fist. And what the Mega Fist does is, as you can probably tell, the Mega Fist will go over the drill, and it'll counter at me, and counter at Mega Fist is actually pretty good. So now, because I know that he wants to Mega Fist at the timings at which I want to do my... Hold on, 1 sec. So at the times when he... Hold on. At the times at which I think he thinks I will drill, I instead now want to do Nobiru, like a summon Nobiru, because that beats the Mega Fist, like that kind of. So you'll see me sometimes do like random string, but then suddenly interrupt the string with a summon into Nobiru. And sometimes it'll just not work at all, because he doesn't decide to Mega Fist. But it's because I know that he wants to Mega Fist. It had to be said. I'm not doing Nobiru for no reason. There is a reason. You deserve it. It was deserved. If you take a round... No, if you take a game on me, I will start IKing you. And it was actually optimal there too.
Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock.
Same with 2H, now that I think about it. So whenever you see like that kind of 2H, it's because I know that he wants to Mega Fist. And then once I start to do Nobiru, what he has to do is at the times when I think he will Hammerfall because he thinks I will drill, now at those timings, he needs to not do he needs to not do Mega Fist, but instead he needs to do 2P, because doing 2P will kill the Eddie summon. But I don't think any pop player I've played actually goes that far. Oh. Too far. Or too close, rather. He wanted to do the MTJD into Papa Stir again. Go. You know where I've seen that? He's doing this thing where he's doing the... whatever the airborne special move is that makes him go flying. He's doing that thing as a as like a engagement option on me, hoping that I block it so that he can do red RC after I block it, and then he can do an actual mix-up. That is actually what he's trying to do. But the only other time I've seen that done was actually in Korea, where there was this one pop player that really liked to force options, and he really liked to go for that. But if you're not panicking, and you're actually thinking about what's going on, it's pretty easy to deal with, because as long as you don't block it, and like you anti-air it, or you just do an air-to-air to interrupt it, it's not actually that threatening. So I'm not sure what the attempt is. Oh. Oh, please! I'm gonna be like 5% HP. Oh, okay, it was more like 1%. I think I win. Yeah. You have 6 fingers? that was asked before. I have a finger sleeve that is not occupied. And it's because I want all my fingers that hit buttons to not be separated by a layer of cloth. if you notice also, in the neutral game, when we were in that scenario just now, of us being full screen away from each other, there's actually nothing Pot can do. Isn't that insane? What he can do is he can try to do the knockdown move. I forgot what it's called. Slide head. Here it is. You can try to slide head and try to get me that way, but that implies that I can't react to slide head, and that might be true for some players, and it can be something that works sometimes. But generally speaking, relying on slide head is not a winning strategy. That was pretty good. Yeah, I have an empty sleeve here. Oh, you can't see. 1 second. Hello, Fen. It has been a long time. Oh. Yeah, having 6 fingers would be nice for a lot of things. Assuming that you have the same level of control for all of them. Oh. Please. Oh. Okay, that's fine. I was thinking of a Mega Fist, but the 5B also works. Yeah, it took some time to get my life a bit together. I think most people take a lot of time to do that. So, if you've done so already, then I think you're on a good path. Yeah, I don't need the full charge. I said this earlier too, but I do, as long as I keep playing the game, if I keep playing the game, and that is a big if, I do want to go to Frosties. I need to go to 1 US tournament for this game before I quit. At least 1. Oh. He's pretty good at using Hammerfall RC. Like, he uses it intentionally to do so at a timing where my move hits him, so that he gets a guaranteed Potbuster. Oh. Oh. Okay, now I win. Now I really win. Yeah, I got a nice job at a company and it's pretty easy on me, pays good too, and getting games from Japanese extra players. Yeah, I don't imagine the connection is that great, because, or assuming it's the same, actually no, when I was in Korea, there was no rollback for this game. So you actually must be getting pretty good connections. See, when I was in Korea, I was using delay-based netcode to play to Japan, and it was surprisingly not very good from Korea to Japan. I think at the time, so if anyone remembers, the lost ages of delay-based netcode for Xrd, my connections to Japan from Korea were like 4 or 5 frames consistently. And that 4 or 5 frames back then was like East Coast to West Coast, North America, or like maybe a bit worse than that. And like considering how close the countries are, I would have thought that the connection would be better, but it's not that good, unfortunately. It's like East Coast to East Coast. East Coast to East Coast. Well, I mean like each frame delay that exists. So that's like 16 times, like 70 milliseconds of ping. Or sorry, not 70 milliseconds. Probably like 130 milliseconds of ping. If I recall correctly, Vietnam is closer to Japan than Korea. Is it actually? I thought Korea was a lot closer. If he bursts here and it works, okay, it's fine now, but... Oh. Go, play neutral for me. Oh! That's bad. I'm dead. Pretty much adjacent, depending on region. I need to pull up a map. I thought Korea is really close to Japan. Maps, dog Google. Okay, let me look at this later. You know why he didn't block that low? He was doing Paw Buster. That was 100% he was doing Paw Buster. That actually killed Eddie. Yeah, I don't see you doing Nobiru or P, Y, or C often. It could be good. But the way I think is that and like it has its uses. But I think it's best illustrated if I exaggerate how I feel by saying that it's a crutch. So I think that generally speaking, if you have Eddie up and you're at that range where you can do the PYRC or Nobiru YRC, it feels to me like the way that you gain advantage. The way that you gain advantage shouldn't be by using more meter, but it should rather be by just having superior offensive options by already having Eddie out. Oh. I think he blocks. Yep. Play Kum against Pot, mash 2P. That's a good strategy. It's a winning strategy. And you know also then, I did play a lot of Kum at some point. It was near like 2022. So like 2021 to 2022. I played a decent amount of Kum. All the while not knowing more than like 2 combos. It was a fun time. My favorite part of playing Coom is easily the ball. It's like a worse Eddie, but it's still pretty fun to play with because there's no commitment. You just summon it. If it disappears, that's not a problem. You just summon it again. Oh. He got baited. He wanted to kill Eddie so badly. Actually, no, it's not even a bait, really. It's more so like you have so much you have such a what am I saying? You have so much muscle memory saved that if you're at that range and Eddie is so close to you like that, like your brain is telling you, press a button, kill Eddie, and you can't really. It's pretty hard to stop yourself from doing it because you have to realize that it is the correct option to kill Eddie there, but only if you're not going to die to drill. It's wire CQB. Okay. Oh. I didn't have burst. I thought I had burst. You can blitz Heat Knuckle? Yeah. it's one of those moves. Which I guess you might not know what I mean, but a lot of things that look like throws, I shouldn't say a lot. Some things that look like throws in this game are not throws. They're just they're just proximity unblockables. Or they're just like hit grabs. The Faust command throw is also another example of those. It's not even really a command throw. That was actually a bad burst, I think. Oh, okay. Okay. Did he give them the double big ball sandwich? I did. Whenever I can, I do the red ball. I send it flying, and then I summon 2 ball supers. It's a good feeling. It's kind of like doing Great Whites, but probably better as an option. Double super ball? Yeah. So you do red ball, then you do super ball twice. Unfortunate. I could have killed there. Alright, it's Great White time. Oh, nice! Oh, okay. It worked out. That was probably the most scuffed Great White usage I've seen in a long time. Like, unless it just doesn't work because I get hit, like not counting those times. Usually, if I don't get hit out of Great White, I do actually get pressure. Which is pretty amazing. Oh! He wanted to top buster there, I think. I wanted to jump. I feel wronged. You don't have meter. You can't do that. Please die. Okay, he died. You're playing 3D chess while I'm over here sniffing glue and tapping buttons by comparison. You know, I spent a lot of time sniffing glue and tapping buttons too, at some point. So don't worry. Oh, especially when I played Mei. I had a lot of glue sniffing going on at that time. I played Mei for about like a good year before I moved to Zato. Oh. Am I dead? No. Oh, I am? Okay. Mei to Zato is a very drastic change. Well, here is the thing. At the time, literally the only fighting game experience I had was a Toho fighting game called Sotu. And what I was told was that Mei, in this game, was like a very airborne, kind of like air combat kind of character. And that is very much like what I was used to. So I was like, okay, this seems pretty similar in style to what I'm used to doing, so I'm gonna pick this character. And hopefully it goes well. And then I realized that, okay, number one, it actually is a kind of a fun character. Like, it has a lot of depth. But then I came across the issue of playing people in tournaments, because there were, like, actively tournaments for this game at the time, in majors. I came across a lot of people that I've never had experience playing that character against, like Zato. So then I started to play the characters that I didn't know how to deal with, and Zato was one of them. And then I decided, hey, this character is pretty cool, and that was possibly the greatest mistake of my Rev 2 career. If I stayed on Mei, I may have done a little better, to be honest. Not gonna lie. But Zato is pretty fun. Oh, nice. He has 2 RC, yeah. Oh, okay. That's very safe. That must have been in Sign though, right? No, that was near the end of Rev 1, in the beginning of Rev 2, because I remember some of the first offline places I've been to had Rev 2 on consoles, on PS4, but they didn't have it on PC. And I remember because I didn't have it on PC, since I only played on PC. So that was like 2017, I think? Like middle of 2017? And then I spent some time playing BlazBlue too. So that was like a half a year of playing BlazBlue. And then I came back to Guilty Gear. I spent about a year playing it. And then at the end of 2018, I think, I switched to Zato. And I believe the last patch that affected Zato was also around that time. At least for... No, it must have been Rev 2.1, I think. Oh, no. So I started playing Zato after the last nerf he received. Which means I'm free of all sins that my fellow Zato players, or Eddie players, have committed in the past. I don't know any of that. I just know that this character sucks, and that people don't like him because he was not so sucky in the past. Of course, now I know, after playing Reload and Plus R, that yeah, it's pretty reasonable to hate on the character, but he's not exactly what he used to be. I'll see you around then. I hope I continue to play this game more than shitty MMOs in the near foreseeable future. He's using the thing where RC has a 1 frame of invul. Like a lot of times I'm doing 2p or 5p, and it's to specifically catch the hammerfall. I'm doing an Eddie move plus 2p or 5p to catch it. And then the 5p or 2p goes through, or maybe it's a little bit too early, I'm not sure, but I think it's going through. And it's because of that frame of invul, I think. Doesn't Pop Buster have invul? It has throw invul for sure. I don't think it has like complete invul, I think. That would be pretty insane if it does. It's 1 frame startup. I know he has throw invul for I think like 3 frames. The startup itself of Pop Buster is 3. But I don't think it has like complete invul ever. You can't do that. Oh, you can do that. That was almost pretty dangerous. I'm dead. I'm pretty sure it doesn't have invul, like complete invul. Like there too just now. That time when I did 2p, if he had meter, he would have RC'd. And then that would have made the 2p go through. The 6p was too slow. And I don't mean slow as in my button press. It was just slow to come out. Does that kill? I think it does. It does. Invul 1 to 2, throw. Oh, 1 to 2 throw, 3 to 5 all. I see, yeah. That makes sense.
Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock.
You guys know Pot can actually... There's a thing in this game where if you jump cancel a move that can be jump cancelled, but then interrupt the jump cancel with a special move, it actually makes cancels from delayed normals into special moves possible. So Pot can do something like a string that's like 2k, close slash, far slash, and then assume that it's a block string. Normally you can't cancel the far slash into Pop Buster, like, and like maintain a range where the Pop Buster would work. But if you jump cancel the far slash and then do a delayed Pop Buster, the far slash will actually cancel into Pop Buster, and it'll actually land on the opponent, depending on the range. I think the practical application is a little limited, but in theory, every character can use it. I thought it was like Wild Throw, where you're not allowed to cancel into it. Normally that's the case. So if you do far slash, and then try to cancel it delayed into Pop Buster, you can't do it. But because you do a jump cancel, but then you cancel the jump cancel into a special move before the jump goes off, the game actually lets you do it. Let me show you after this, after the sets. Would have been nice to have Executor. Oh, it's the same mechanics of how jump cancel blitz works in combos. Like, you'll see Chip do it a lot. Where he does, like, 6H, jump cancel, but then he doesn't jump. He cancels his jump cancel into Blitz. You're using the same theory as that, basically. But instead of canceling into Blitz, you're canceling into a special move. Oh, what am I doing? It's fine. Counter hits make Zato work. What was that? Wait, what's the deal with his auto 5p? Like, is he allowed to delay cancel into... no, so when I do 5p like that, and I dash constantly, I'm making the read that my opponent is afraid of my... whatever other option I'm gonna do. So it's very fake. You can mash, you can jump out, you can do whatever you want. But it's just that he thinks that I'm gonna do something else that's not 5p into 5p over and over. And you can do that with any character, like, no matter who you play. You can do 5p, 5p, 5p. It's not safe, but the point is not necessarily to be safe. Oh, you mean like actual 5p into 5p? Isn't that a... So... Oh, okay, yeah. I should have known. But he can combo 5p into 5p, but it's definitely not a self-Gatling, and it's not plus enough to link into itself. I think there are some cases where it's not exactly a Gatling, but he can cancel it into itself. Like a lot of P buttons are like that, I think. Isn't Soul 5p the same? Like, you can do 5p, 5p, 5p? Okay, I'll try to not lose this time. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Soul 5p is self-Gatling. I see. My understanding of what you're asking was that sometimes some P buttons can cancel into itself. Effectively in the same way, or not in the same way, but like in a very similar way to Gatling. But it's kind of unconventional. But I never really took the time to understand it, because I didn't really see the benefits. He's back to doing Pop-Busters. He can throw, I think. He cannot. Okay. Oh! I think I die. Yeah, I die. Unfortunate. 0 guts. Although in that case, even if I did have guts, I'd probably die anyways. For most characters. It's a lot faster than I thought it would happen. Like the land into Heat Knuckle. I think I'm dead. Yeah. Alright, well, let's pretend it was a first to 10 and win it. Alright, see you around. I will hopefully be back tomorrow. Alright, well, that's good enough for me. I think that... Oh, he's gonna keep going. Okay, makes sense. I think I want to do, like, at most 3 more games. There are a lot of things that just happened there. The backdash is too shitty. Zato backdash is also not very good, to put it lightly. Did I? No. Alright, play neutral for me. Okay, I win. Okay, I don't win. Now I win. I was hoping for a more clean victory brought to me by Great Whites. Oh, this is match points. Okay, nice. I don't wanna let him get past this many wins. Hopefully, I'll do 2 more.
Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock. Counter.
Really, at the end of the backdash? Okay, that's kind of okay.
Duel 2. Turn up the heat.
I thought I had frame advantage there because he got knocked down. I guess I was incorrect. That's a lot of damage. Wow, I die from that. Holy shit. Did you see that damage? I think that was probably just like 1 step of guts away from being into the next step of guts. Oh, I died from that too. Holy shit. I need to get used to Zato health again. What a challenge. I think that's okay.
It's not over yet. Duel 3. Turn up the heat.
My biggest interest is keeping his burst gauge low. My backdash, it has disappeared. Okay, I'll do one more. Let's make it 4 games.
Heaven or hell. Duel 1. Let's rock. Counter.
It's okay. See, like now I've actually hit him with so many normals that he blocks. But the unblockable actually kills at basically any HP. So when Zato does have risk, it is pretty good. It's just that he never gets risk ever. He's not a Soul or a Johnny in any regards. And it's very intentionally designed that way. Because Daisuke did not want Reload Eddie again, seemingly. Oh, I'm dead? Okay. Makes sense.
Duel 3. All or nothing.
Okay. I could have IK'd. Actually, that would have been an uncommon way to IK, because usually you can't get the buzzsaw to head towards you like that. It's a very limited situation that occurs. Like in a situation where you can also IK. You guessed incorrectly with that blitz. In fact, I don't know which one it was. I don't have to care, but you do. Because from the perspective of doing the unblockable, it turns out that as long as you know which one, as long as you know how to do each one, it doesn't really matter what it ends up being. He does a lot of just OK Popbuster, like without doing anything else. And I feel like I've done enough to deter that. My 2P is too inactive, it turns out. You die. Okay, that's it. I'm done. That's the end of the set. Wait, what are we at? We're at 14. I need to make it 15, and then I'll be done.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
It might seem like overkill to do this, but it's actually not. The amount of damage you did at the end of that combo is very, very little. So I need to actually guarantee that I have the damage. So close. He has a... that is absolutely a very annoying death dash.
All or nothing.
I actually don't have a punish for Trishula, because no one really uses it like as part of a block string. Okay, now I'm actually done. I am done for today. Okay. Well, I hope I will continue to play, and I think that is the plan going forwards. And as long as I feel like I can get games when I want to, which might not always be the case with this game, I will continue playing. I think I'll be back tomorrow, if I can find a good match. Oh, also, one more thing. As I have done yesterday, let's see. Okay, here, one sec, before I go. I will put this up on stream. Wait, that's the wrong one. Oh, enjoy spinning Zato. Okay, here it is. Oh, whoops. I have one final theory question that I want to ask. Is there a good/bad way to analyze risk/reward? It might be a dumb question, but I want to start thinking about meter use, learning from my replays. I figure, instead of leaning on others to fix my play, I would actually do something myself. And before I start making notes, I just wanted to get your opinion, so I don't somehow skew my notes by doing something fundamentally wrong. I think risk-reward, there are a few different ways you can look at it, but one of the ways you can look at it is, number one, what was the process, and number two, what was the result. So let's say, for example, that you are playing Sol, and you are playing against, let's say, like any character, like Kai. You're playing Sol versus Kai. and you decide that at some point during your block string, you want to take a risk by resetting your pressure by running forwards and then pressing another button. When you do this, the process was that you decided to interrupt your guaranteed block string, because the block string is guaranteed once you start it. You decided to interrupt that and then take a risk by running forwards, which can be interrupted by the opponent, which is why it's a risk. And the end result, like the optimal result from that, is that you get more pressure. That is your reward. And you might also get something like a throw, if you decide to go for that. And then the risk, the result of the risk, is that you might have gotten interrupted by the opponent. So let's say Kai presses like 2S or forward slash, or God forbid, he does stun dipper, and you get hit. So we can know from this that, and this might seem really obvious, but it's kind of important to point out, that the process was that you decided to interrupt your safe string to gain more pressure, and then the result is either, number one, you got more pressure, or number two, you lost your pressure. Basically, like at a very simple level. And there is a lot of difficulty with this, because not a lot of scenarios are as simple or as clean cuts as the example I just gave. So there will be a lot, there is risk reward in the sense that you put it everywhere in this game. No matter where you look, there's always going to be choices made. And there's so many of them, and there are so many different risks and different rewards involved that it's really hard to... It's kind of like the previous question that was asked, in the sense that it is very impossible. It is very impossible to try and answer in one go, unfortunately. Generally speaking, when you're looking at replays, so if you're looking at your own replay, you're trying to look for habits that you have, and then trying to fix those habits that you know for sure are bad habits. And you can have improvements happen there, but you also, I think that the majority, so more than 50% of your improvement, should actually come more from your watching of other players, as opposed to watching your own replays. Watching your own replays is fine, but what that does is it teaches you what not to do. So if you're making mistakes, if you're doing something repeatedly, you're teaching yourself when you look at that replay, I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't press this button in this scenario. I shouldn't go for this when my opponent is doing this. And that's fine, that can be very helpful, but what you want to be learning in any game or in any learning process, you want to be learning what you have to do, or what is good to do, as opposed to what you can't do. There's value in both, but you gain more from learning, okay, here's something that this player did that I didn't know was an option, so I should try doing this in this scenario. That's very helpful. Because if you keep making a list of, I can't do this, and I shouldn't do this, and I won't do this in this scenario, all you have is a list that is full of don't do's. And a list of don't do's is not very helpful for learning. It can help you prevent mistakes, but that's about it. You can't become a very good player just by making a list of, I shouldn't do this, if that makes sense. Let's see if I missed anything here. Figure instead of leaning on others to fix my play, I would actually do something myself. I figure instead of leaning on others to fix my play, I would actually do something myself. Okay. If you are a player who's learning this game, and you are like 6-7 years behind everyone else who is currently playing the game, you need to leech off of existing info as hard as you can, and that is for your own benefit. You should not feel like that is a downside for anyone else that is around you. You have to look at the info that exists that other people have found, and you have to absorb that. That is not a negative at all. Leaning on others is fine. I think that's it. So I will head off. Goodbye. Thank you for watching, and thank you for the sub, Celio.